with a professional record. 2 victories and 1 defeat, wearing the white and gold from Nottingham, presenting Sasha. Our referee, Mr. People in Command, to give his final instructions.
There's a bit of a height difference here, Derek.
Yeah. I quite liked when Cindy's record was read out. She made a face as like she's coming to try and change that today. Obviously she's got 2 losses, but she wants to get a win today, so it'll be interesting to see how this fight shapes up.
And she's only 20 years old. So 2 fights at 20 years old. You've got the whole rest of your career ahead of you. It's very young to turn over.
Yeah, of course. The thing with boxing now, you know, I feel like some of the top boxers, Usyk, Crawford, who's just recently retired, are doing stuff well into their late 30s. So I think age is one thing, but it's all about mileage as well, I think, more in pro boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sasha's 34. She's off to a strong start here, working behind the jab and using that height and distance we mentioned earlier well.
Sasha looks like she's trying to take her time, establish her range. While Sydney boxing with a high guard right now, which is good. She seems to have good footwork as well. Defense seems to be defensively sound, so it should shape up to be a good fight. It looks like Sydney's going to try and move around and evade some of Sasha's shots, where she's going to try to establish her range, and I think it looks like she's shaping up to throw some power shots.
Expect a strong defence from Sydney as well, because she's managed by Dale Arrowsmith, who's a well-renowned pro on the scene in the UK, 150 pro fights.
Yeah, Dale Arrowsmith knows his way around the ring. Oh,
great body shot in there.
Yeah, she's getting to work straight away. Sasha is not wasting time at all. She feels like she's found her range. She's getting into her rhythm. And yeah, she was throwing in some hard body shots there. I think she's getting back to her boxing now.
It's important for Sasha to put in the performance, because the last outing was in Greece against a 4-0 competitor in Athens, and she didn't come away with the spoils, but she gave a good account of herself. But as you know, you need to be picking up the W's to get back in title contention, which Sasha has aspirations for.
It's a good round for Sasha. I think that's one round in the books for her.
I would say so as well. Sydney not opting to sit in the corner. What are your thoughts on standing up in the corner, Derek?
It varies, you know. I sit in the corner, but when I was amateur, I used to stand up, just because, you know, when you're sparring, you don't sit down in between the rounds when you're sparring. So it depends on what you prefer, what you're used to. I think it's like tomato, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's very true. Like in a mimicking situation when you're sparring, you never sit down, but you put it into practice in a fight.
Yeah. If I sit down in the middle of the round in the corner, I try to like stretch my legs out, shake my legs as much as I can, keep the blood flowing as well. But you know, it depends how the fight's going. Sometimes you will need that sit down. So yeah.
Not everyone can bang out press ups like Bernard Hopkins in between rounds.
100%. So the second round's underway here. Sasha finished the first round very strong. She started putting in some power shots. Let's see how it shapes up now. Also, we'll see how Sydney will respond.
Just for those joining us at home, Sasha is the one in white and Sydney is the one in black.
I'm not one to comment on ring gear, but I do like the ring gear of both fighters here. I do like a bit of sparkle, to be fair. White and gold is my favourite colour trim as well. So
I do like the white. Maybe that's a theme for tonight. We'll comment on the ring gear.
Yeah, Sasha's really sticking those body shots in now. She's not playing around, but Sydney doesn't seem to be phased, you know. Like she had a little bit of a smirk on her face in between the barrage of punches from Sasha. So there seems to be a level of composure. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there seems to be good shots landed, but Sydney doesn't seem to be phased by them.
Yeah, she is doing really well to keep a good high guard. She's moving around a lot as well, staying on her toes, which is cool. So yeah.
She does look like she's enjoying it, Chambers, and a little feint in there just to keep Sasha honest at the distance.
But I suspect the way Sasha was creeping in, she is looking to get her out there early. I think she's really sitting down in her shots. There's no bounce in her footwork, which means she's trying to get all the power from through her legs into her hands. So I think she's looking for an early night, to be fair.
In Sasha's first pro fight, she scored a knockdown, which you don't see often in 6 2-minute rounds in female boxing. It tends to be the longer distances where you see someone getting hurt. So she does carry power for her weight.
Yeah, I agree. I remember my pro debut was actually over 6 2-minute rounds. So funny enough, people don't know that you got a choice of doing 4 2s, 4 3s or 6 2s. I think I did 6 2s to stretch the show out longer. So that was a decision by the promoter. But another good round from Sasha.
Yeah.
But she looks like she's feeling the pace a little bit as she walked back to the corner. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on, what happens in the following round.
I agree. If you looked at the body languages in the corner, Chambers looks a little bit more comfortable at present, even though Sasha's the one who's picked up the rounds. I mean, less than a month ago, she did have a difficult fight in Greece.
Yeah.
So to have back-to-back contests in quick succession,
yeah,
will take its toll.
To be fair, Sydney looks very relaxed in the corner. The opposite corner standing out the blue corner. Sasha did look a bit tense when she was walking back, so it'll be interesting to see how she shapes up in the third round, which is coming up now. But so far, I think she's 2 rounds to the good. So we'll see what happens.
I'd agree on that one. And it's just a case of
Round 3.
one more round for Sasha now would give her the safety net of knowing that the worst that she could do is a draw if it was to go to the distance.
Yeah, I think Sam Goodwin's probably told Sasha just to relax a bit more and just try and box and maybe not overloading on the power as well, because it seems to have taken its toll on her engine. So she looks like she's trying to be a bit more nimble on her feet.
And it does take it out of you when you're throwing power shots and loading up, because the tension stops the oxygen getting to the muscles.
Exactly. Good defense there from Sasha. But she's really putting everything behind those shots. There was a big uppercut and a left hook. Sydney takes it well on the gloves, but Sasha's not messing around with these shots.
No. She is really looking for blood, isn't she? With that height and distance, she could make it easy for herself, as she did at the beginning of the first round, and just pump that jab.
Yeah. It could be down. You see, you can have all the game plans in the world, and being someone who's been in the ring, like, you can get in there, and sometimes the occasion. Of course, she's boxing, maybe she's got people here watching her. She's only from Nottingham, so it's not far from here in Derby, so she's the hometown favourite. So that could play in as well, the excitement.
Not only that, seeing Chambers constantly smile at her. Some people won't react to it, but with others, it will drive them mad.
Yeah. I think Sydney's smile is not intentional. I don't think she's, it's not any kidology or, I think she's just genuinely, that's her face, you know what I mean? She just looks like a relaxed and calm fighter. And it shows in how she's boxing.
She's just genuinely enjoying it, isn't she?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how anyone could punch her when she's smiling at you like that.
I think that's another good round from Sasha again. Yeah, she's bouncing as much as Sydney looking at the corner, and it seems like she's blowing a bit more, so still got the best part of 3 rounds to go, so we'll see what happens.
Yes. Although Sydney hasn't worked enough to win the rounds yet, she is very comfortable in the corner, so we could see a late surge from her to try and steal rounds as we get towards the closing stretch of the fight.
I agree. Sydney here is boxing today out of Ashton-under-Lyne from Lancashire, so a bit further up north. Well, I'm from London, as you can tell by my accent, so everything is up north from where I grew up. But, Sydney looks very comfortable in the corner. She looks in very good shape, and so it should be interesting to see how the last 3 rounds go.
Round 4.
It'll be interesting to see now if Sydney, picks up on the fact that Sasha looks like she's getting a bit tired and starts, increasing her work rate to see if she can claw any rounds back. in this fight, because I think she is 3 rounds down right now.
Definitely a few more punches being thrown by Sydney early in this round.
Yeah. I have really liked Sydney's footwork and her movement, you know. It's not that she's just, you know, like just trying to evade her punches, but her footwork is she's trying to work into positions where she can throw back, and she has thrown back a few. To be fair, she's not been completely passive. So yeah, she's taken a lot of shots on the glove, but also I need to give Sasha her credit defensively as well. She's made Sydney miss quite a bit. So yeah, it's been quite a good fight so far.
Yeah, there's been a few nice uppercuts landed from Sasha, but I think because of where Sydney was and the placement, it hasn't quite had the velocity that she wanted it to have.
Yeah.
Just Chambers pulling away as Sasha was throwing a shot, taking the sting out of it.
Yeah. I think if Sasha just maybe focused on, you know, tip-tapping with the shots and focused on the quantity more than the quality, because I think she's just trying, it looks like she's trying to find the perfect shot, which she might do, but also that will affect, you know, her energy levels, as it looks like it has. But as I say that, curse of the commentator, she throws a beautiful uppercut.
There was a body shot in there as well that sunk in.
That was a great body shot from Sasha just on the belt line of Sydney.
I really like Sasha's body shots because she's been throwing to the head to bring the hands up and then sinking them in below.
Yeah.
I'd say another round for Booker.
I think so too. I think whereas Sydney's not doing enough to win the round. It's competitive, but Sasha's doing enough. But like I said, and she's not blowing. She hasn't used a lot of her energy, so there's still 2 rounds to go. Of course, she's down on the cards, but who knows? Anything can happen in boxing. So
stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
That's why we love the sport.
Of course. So yeah, Sydney looks like she's really enjoying it, smiling from the corner. Sasha's 4 rounds to the good, but there's another 2 rounds to go.
Quarters, 10 seconds.
Really trying to get those deep breaths in while she's in the corner.
Seconds out.
I think that's what Sam Goodrum would have been working on in the corner with her, to compose that breathing and slow down the heart rate so she's ready to go again.
Of course. So here, round 5, we have Sasha Booker boxing out of the red corner, white shorts of gold trim, up against Sydney Chambers boxing out of the blue corner in the black shorts with the silver trim. Currently we think Sasha is 4 rounds to the good. She's landed some heavy shots, and Sydney's still competitive. She's still there, she's still moving, she's still throwing back, so it'll be interesting to see how the last 2 rounds go.
Give a little nod there because of great body shot there by Sasha. She right hooked under the left elbow, sunk it in.
It was a very good body shot. Once again, Sasha's looking for the big shots, and she has got some through. She's landed some beautiful body shots tonight. Some great uppercuts as well and left hooks.
I feel based on her composure, even if Sasha was to hurt Sydney, that Sydney would have enough about her to get through it, because she's very composed whatever comes.
Yeah, she's got phenomenal composure, to be honest. She's not been phased one bit by anything that Sasha's thrown at her. Yeah, we saw Sasha just switch to southpaw for a split second. Didn't throw any shots from the start, but clearly she's showing that she's comfortable being able to operate from both stances.
Something to be said as well, we've visibly seen Sasha blowing in the corner, tired, and here she is still pushing and throwing punches.
Which you'd say is maybe, you'd argue whether that's the right game plan. Obviously they say attack is your best form of defense, but it's working for her, because I think that's another round in the books, and she's got the last round coming up.
Absolutely, that was a better round than last for her as well, where she dug deep and was digging in those shots. just comment on the venue, Derek. I'm not sure if you've been here before. It's a pretty decent venue.
It is. It's quite nice actually. It's my first time in this arena. Only a few minutes from Nottingham up the A52. But yeah, it's been really cool. Got a really good night of fights today as well. So obviously we're just kicking off now the preliminary undercard. And yeah, it should be a very good night of boxing. Good atmosphere to boxing.
It's a great venue for a sort of show of this size as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's difficult when the small halls are too small and the big arenas are too big.
Too big, yeah. And I think it still gives you the feel of an arena with the tiered seating and stuff. So it's really cool. So the bell just gone for the final round here. We think Sasha's looked very impressive tonight. She's probably banked the last 5 rounds. But Sydney also has made the fight very competitive. She's moved around well with her feet. She's not been passive, and she's clearly come here to try and win. Just that Sasha has just thrown some very spiteful shots tonight. Both of them defensively quite sound.
It'll be important for Sasha as well, getting back in the win column before Christmas.
Okay. Still jabbing. So it's interesting. Sasha actually has not been using her right hand as much.
Yeah, the right hands tend to have been the body goes up on the head.
Oh, she's doing very well with his body shots. Sasha is trying to get her out of there. And there's a lot of spite in these shots. She goes from head to body. Some hellacious hooks, so yeah.
Imagine some of that time, and I've seen the clips on Instagram, the body bag that she does with Coach Goodrum has really paid dividends, and she sinks them in there.
Yeah. Just heard Sam Goodwin, her trainer, shouting in the corner, use your feints. Basically getting her to not telegraph the shots. Calling out angles, which is, I think, really good advice.
And you can hear some of it being picked up on the mics in the background.
100%. She's done well today. It's been a good showing. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the corner was asking her something about her right hand. So I'm not sure if she sustained an injury to her right hand after the second round. But it would make sense that as why she looked a bit troubled going back to the corner. So, but good fight.
Yeah, and that would show why she was going to the body more with the heavy shots as well, because it won't have as much of an impact on your hands as landing to the head.
Yeah, she's done well to get through that. I think that's a comfortable win for her. I think she's 1-6 round to the goods, and yeah, she probably has injured her right hand because she's shaking it right now. She stands in the corner. Considering if she has injured her right hand at the beginning of the fight with the second round, she's done very well.
Absolutely.
It surely didn't show that her right hand was injured because she was still winging in those right hands to the body, so yeah.
Yeah, it took us a while to notice as well, which means you've disguised it well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to injure your hand, it's probably the best time of year to do it. If you've got the Christmas period, then it shows are quiet in January. Hopefully gives it ample time to recover and it's not too serious.
100%. It's always great to get fighting before Christmas. You can enjoy your Christmas meal a bit more and have a rest knowing that you're probably not looking to box again until maybe, February, March?
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please show your appreciation for both boxers stood in the ring. But ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to our referee scorecard. Our referee, Peter McCormack, scores the contest 60-54 for your winner. From Nottingham, Sasha Booker!
Just as we expected, Sasha gets the win, 60-54. That's a complete shutout. And yeah, she's done well. As you can see, her supporters in the back. So I'm sure she must be chuffed to come back boxing closer to home and get the win.
Yeah, and a very fair scorecard as well. Sometimes 60-54 signifies complete dominance, but there was a few competitive rounds in there.
Yeah, it was very competitive. It'll be interesting to see the current situation with her right hand as she was shaking it towards the end of the fight, but if she has done some damage to it or maybe suspected broken hand, she's done very well. Because I clearly didn't notice that throughout the fight. So yeah, well done to her. She'd be happy with that showing.
Next fight, we have got Mark Ahondjo, but more commonly known as the War Chief.
The War Chief, yes. I've actually been in the gym with him a few times. Well, not sparring with him. He's a heavyweight, but someone who has got a lot of talent, got a lot of potential, and curious to see how far he goes. And yeah, he's doing really well. Very dedicated. He's got a good team behind him. In terms of Sam Goodwin.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the action continues now in the heavyweight division. So please welcome first into the arena to the blue corner, Ben the Butcher Vickers.
So we have Ben Vickers just making his way into the ring now. He'll be boxing out of the blue corner. Boxing out of London. He's only just returned to the ring after 5 years out. Well, he had a fight in November. So yeah, he looks ready and up for it. So it should be a good fight.
He won his first 2 pro fights, but then he won his first 2 pro fights way back 5 years ago. Then he's returned in November. He did get a stoppage in one of his wins, so he does carry power up the weight.
Yeah, he looks like he carries power. I think all heavyweight.
And now we welcome his opponent into the arena. To the red corner, please make some noise and welcome Mark Ahondjo.
So he's had 1 fight in September this year, and he won it by 2nd round stoppage.
Yes. So he's got, like I said, he's got a very good team behind him. He's walking in with Wisdom the Prophet. He's known as an amateur. He's turning over soon. They've got a big heavyweight stable. They've been doing some training with Tyson Fury as well. They've got Fraser Clark in the gym. Got another heavyweight from Nottingham, Lamar Grigg. So yeah, really good company to be around.
Yeah, it's great for them because they don't have to travel too far for sparring, but he has been sparring Tyson Fury. He's been sparring others like Daniel Dubois as well. So he's been getting the experience, even outside the ring, ready for when he's in here.
He's taking his time to get in the ring. I love that. Enjoy it. Why not? Listen, you train hard for things like this. It's good to actually enjoy the occasion sometimes and make the most of it, which he's doing right now, which is cool. So this will be a 4 3-minute round contest. So we're looking to see how Mark shapes up. He's definitely got the moves.
So he's 26 as well, which is a great age for a heavyweight, because as we were discussing earlier, heavyweights go much longer. Usyk, for instance, is about to turn 40 and looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's all about age and mileage, man. I think mileage is a big thing in boxing. Like, you could be 20, and if you've had loads of fights and you've been in loads of wars, then your mileage is going to be high. You can be older, and you can have very low mileage. So I think that's very important.
Of the evening, Harry Ashton of Trilogy Promotions proudly presents 4 rounds of action in the heavyweight division. This bout brought to you in association with our great sponsors, DoNotAge.org. This bout has been sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Their supervisor here at ringside, Mr. Tony Hedges. Our timekeeper at the bell for this bout, Mr. Jason Booth. And our referee in charge of the action and 3rd man in the ring, scoring the bout, Mr. Reese Carter. So ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, introducing to you first, standing in and boxing out of the blue corner, his official weight on the scales, 17 stone, 9 pounds, 4 ounces. Tonight, he enters the ring with a professional record. 2 victories and 2 defeats. Tonight, wearing the white and black shorts from Battersea, London, presenting Ben the Butcher Vickers. His opponent tonight standing across the ring and boxing out of the red corner. His official weight on the scales today, 18 stone, 6 ounces. He enters the ring tonight with a perfect professional record, 1 victory and no defeats. Tonight wearing the black and yellow from Leicester, presenting Ahondjo. Our referee is to restart to give his final instructions.
Okay, first of all, Mark, any shots there are going to be good, okay? Gentlemen, keep it clean, listen to me, and defend yourself at all times. Good luck, shake hands.
So this should be a very interesting contest. Of course, it's the heavyweights, and both are not the smallest heavyweights you've ever seen.
No, they are both big lads. As we said, Mark Ahondjo, who we know as War Chief, weighed in at 18 stone.
And straight away, Mark is trying to establish a jab, but you know what? Looking at Ben in the corner, he looks up for this. He looks very locked in. Very locked in. Going back to the shorts again, he's got the old, traditional Muhammad Ali style shorts. The white with the black trim, and we've got Mark boxing out the red corner and the black shorts with gold trim, and just puts together a nice 1-2. Like I said, Ben's not here to lie down. Ben is trying to throw that right hand and big long left hook.
Ahondjo there with a one upstairs and going downstairs with a hook straight afterwards.
You can just tell when it's the heavyweights because every shot that lands on the head or body, you can hear it. Also, you feel the ring canvas starts shaking in a completely different way in comparison to the other fight. So, whoa, that's a beautiful overhand right from Mark, aka the War Chief.
I'm finding it difficult to call him Mark.
Yeah, the War Chief has got a ring to it. His background is from Ghana, West Africa.
And he actually represented Ghana as well.
Yes, he
Whilst
did.
living over here, he went to the Olympic qualifiers in Thailand and just didn't quite make it the whole full distance. But that is some pedigree to have represented your country at any stage as an amateur.
Of course, it still would have been a great experience for him, irrespective of the result. Still would have been an invaluable amount of experience he would have gained from that. And just being able to, wear your nation's vest and represent them, I think, in any capacity, I think is great. He's putting his shots together here, head and body, which is good. A good level of composure from the War Chief, considering he's only in his second professional fight.
One thing that you notice when you're watching the heavyweights as well is that they're a lot more tentative about what's coming back because one shot can end it immediately.
Of course. Both, I think, are defensively sound. I think both guys seem to, for early on, respect each other's power because they're both making sure they're keeping their guard up. But Mark is starting to find his rhythm here. He's putting some shots together. But like I said, Ben's not here to lie down. He's throwing back.
Ooh. Looks like he took one there.
I was just about to, compliment the War Chiefs finding angles to look for the right hand, but Ben just caught him with a clean shot just as he moved angles. So yeah, I think Mark still done enough to bank the first round as we hit a 10-second clapper. But yeah, this is shaping up to be a very good fight. Ben is not here to make up the numbers, clearly.
It looks like War Chief's legs are a bit heavy after that, but I think he'll recover quite well because he looks a fit lad. But what happened there is War Chief landed a lovely combination and admired his own work and left himself in range to get caught.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Ben Vickers clearly knows his way around the ring. There's some sneaky stuff he's done that probably says he's a lot more experienced than his record of only 4 fights up until today would suggest. So looks very confident in the corner, but also Mark is still looking very good.
What's he been doing for 5 years? He might have been in the gym the whole time.
No one knows, He could probably tell us, but clearly he's been doing something to be at the ring for that long and be able to come back and fight straight away. So shaping up to be a good fight. I'd still give the first round to the War Chief boxing out the red corner, but we'll see how this fight shapes up.
It's a very clean contest as well. There hasn't been too much hugging or anything like that. Reese
No.
Carter hasn't had a lot to do as the ref.
100%. It's been a very good contest so far, and with the heavyweights they say don't blink, it only takes one shot. But I'm liking the way that the War Chief is varying his jab. Doing very well with that.
He's feinting and jabbing to the body as well, which is creating gaps elsewhere.
You can hear his trainer Asgeir, who's obviously been in the Tyson Fury camp for a number of years, just trying to get Mark to relax, use his feints, and pick his shots a bit better, which I think is very sound advice.
Yeah, it's great advice, and you won't go far wrong with advice like that, especially from someone who knows the heavyweights. Great counter there, right hand over the top.
It's great to be able, you know, for Mark the War Chief to be able to box on, you know, in the home corner, on a show in Derby, and a great show like this, an amazing arena, and he's not too far from home, originally boxing out of Leicester. So it'll be a very good occasion for him. A good card to box on for only your second pro fight. And just as we say that, he throws a good left to the body, a right hand to the head. But like I said, Ben is still live, active. Ben is clearly trying to push him back.
One of the things that they mention when you're a prospect is learning fights. And fights where someone just doesn't roll over or just doesn't take you through to a 40-36, and this is a fantastic learning fight.
I agree, because like Ben, he's not being passive at all. Ben is looking for his shots. I think Mark just tried to throw a right hand and Ben just shook his head. Bit of kidology there, so Ben is looking confident. He's really starting to wing some shots in here, and he's making Mark work. So yeah, this is a good fight. It's a very good fight.
There's an old saying as well, which is the worst time to fight a road warrior is just before Christmas, because they know they haven't got any fights coming up in the new year, so they can go for it. And that looks to be the case here.
Yeah, Ben is doing well to cut the ring off, and he's coming on strong in this round. And I think he's making Mark, the War Chief, have to, you know, work a bit more harder. But it looks like it's not his natural work rate. So it'll be interesting to see how if Mark is good for this level of work rate for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, Vickers is making him uncomfortable now, which is just what you need.
Cool, another good round again.
That's a harder round to score, I thought.
Do you know what? I would score that even, actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't make a case for Ben winning the round, neither could I make a case for Mark winning the round. So I'd score that one even.
It felt like a round of 2 halves where War Chief started strong, but Vickers started to fancy it and come on towards the stretch, down the stretch of it.
Yeah. I don't know if this is much to read into, but I'm sure Ben Vickers stood up after the first round and he's sitting down now. If that's anything to go by.
Yeah, he put a lot more into that, didn't he?
Or maybe it can just be a bit more kidology in the corner. But he looked better in that second round. Made Mark work a lot.
War Chief still standing.
So we're just coming up to the 3rd round now.
Round 3.
So you can hear Mark, Ahondjo's corner, the War Chief, saying that, you know, straight shots, they want him to work a bit better, be a bit more fluid. Ben is just walking him down, trying to close off the ring, claim the center of the ring.
And he's got a 2-inch height advantage, so working long is the right advice when that's the case.
Of course. I'd like, you know, to see the War Chief Mark throw some more overhand rights like he did in the first round. Because it seems to be a shot that he was able to get around the guard of Ben Vickers. So it's, yeah, so far a really good contest. Good body shot again there from the War Chief.
Vickers is liking that left hook right hand, so he must have seen a gap there where something could be set up with that.
Yeah, he seems to throw the left hook quite well. But he's varying it. Sometimes he's throwing the right hand, then left hook. Sometimes he throws the left hook, then followed by the right hand. Just as I said that, they both traded a decent body shot each. Great body shot from Mark.
If I was Vickers' corner, I'd be a little bit alarmed at how comfortable he is to stand in the way of punches at the minute, because as you know, in the heavyweights, that's when you get caught.
But he's doing well to back up Mark into the corner. You know, Mark is doing well to find the space, but if Ben increased his work rate, he'd probably get a little bit more success with the way he's sort of kind of, I'd say, dictating the pace of the fight in terms of the movement in the ring.
War Chief switched southpaw there for a bit, but it didn't seem to work for him, where he got caught with a few shots, and he's now switched back.
This is shaping up to be a very good fight. I think this will be a great learning fight for Mark, the War Chief, Ahondjo. Ben Vickers clearly knows his way around the ring. He hasn't come here to lie down and make up the numbers, so he's doing very well. They've both been exchanging shots.
I'm hearing Asker and Sam shout to go to the body, and War Chief didn't hear them because I could see it, but Vickers' elbows were up and there were gaps there. But as you know, when you're in the heat of battle, sometimes it's difficult to hear advice like that.
Yeah, neither of them seem phased by each other's shots. But I would say Ben Vickers looks like the more comfortable in terms of not being phased about what's coming back. Could that work against him? We don't know. But a very competitive fight, very competitive. Mark has done well to maintain a good work rate. And like I said, Ben is pushing him all the way.
Few good jabs landed there at the end of the round by Vickers. They could be important shots in an even round like that, because it's the last thing the judge remembers.
Of course. I think that was another hard one to score for me. I don't know, which way would you think that would have went?
I think it was tough. I mean, I'd also go even again, but I know that you're unlikely to get two even rounds.
Even rounds in a row, yeah.
So I would think that they might give that one to Vickers because of the body language during the round.
Yeah. In saying that, then, if we've got, if it goes by our unofficial scorecards, then it's 1 round each and 1 round even. Could we be looking at a draw here, do you reckon?
Yeah, or a decider in this round. It could be a, we could have a draw.
Yeah, well, Asger in the corner, he's experienced and he's not quite reading the right act to Mark, but there is a level of urgency. Ben just looks like he's been here before. He looks way more experienced than his record suggests.
One thing to mention here as well, it is the furthest that the War Chief has ever gone in a fight, because in the amateurs he'd have been doing 3-3s, and his first pro fight ended in the 2nd round. So this is uncharted territories for him.
Of course. But he would have trained for this. Of course, you can never envisage how the fight's going to go in terms of, you know, the level of work rate. As you can see, you know, Ben Vickers has made him work a lot more. A bit more kidology there from Ben, shaking his head as he takes Mark shots on the gloves.
A lot more nervous energy as well, which takes out your gas tank on an occasion like this.
100%.
The cameras, the TV platform.
And I think what's not spoken about enough is how much warmer it is in the ring. You know, when you have all these bright lights, you know, they give off a fair amount of heat. So let's just say you won't have to do much to get a sweat going, as you can see from Mark. Yeah, but a really good fight. It's interesting to see how the referee would have it on his scorecard. Very competitive.
Those 2 even rounds that we expected to be even could go either way though, couldn't they? So we really can't call it.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's credit to both fighters, but credit to Ben Vickers. We in the away corner is, you know, obviously here to, like most guys, to just be a part of the contest, move around. But you know, Ben's clearly come here to win. He's throwing some shots with some serious intent behind it. So just as I say that, he throws like a right hand and backs.
Big shot landed
backs
there.
Mark in the corner, and he's landed about 2 or 3 shots in succession there. You hear Mark's corner shouting for him to box and keep it long, which is very good advice because, like I said, Ben's done very well to cut the ring off. He's got Mark on the ropes a lot, and you do not want to be on the ropes with someone like Ben who's throwing some serious intent.
Yeah, knockdown here could change the contest drastically, couldn't
100%.
it? A 10-8 round at this stage.
Ben caught Mark with a shot, and Mark just, you know, nodded almost in respect. It's like, you know, good shot.
I feel like War Chief needs a strong finish here.
I think he does. I think he does, because this is a good round from Ben. It's a very good round from Ben, and he seems to have landed cleaner shots here. Just as I say that, another left hand and the right hand comes down and lands on the chin of Mark. Ben looks like he's winning this round so far. And I think the key here is this: Mark's allowed him to dictate the pace and just push him back onto the ropes.
Yeah. And he's worked War Chief without doing too much, just by walking him down.
Yeah, of course. This will be a great learning fight for him either way.
Yeah, you can learn loads from that.
It's hard to call that one, but I think we might be looking at a draw here.
It could be a draw.
Could be a draw here.
It's one I'd love to see again.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? Kudos to Ben Vickers. I'd like to see more of him. Considering he's been out of the ring for 5 years, that is a very, very impressive performance. Very impressive.
Another heavyweight behind us, Lamar Griggs. Would have been entertained by that, no doubt.
Yeah. That was a very good fight. I'm not too sure, but this might have a draw written all over it.
It's a draw or a one-round swing.
One round swing in which direction? We're going to have a close one here for the referees. Calling the boxes in. Of course, it being a 4-rounder, the referee scoring it. And he gets...
Now we'll go to MC Jonathan Miller to give us the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please show your appreciation for both boxers stood here in the ring. But after 4 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee's scorecard. He scores the bout, Mr. Reese Carter, 38-38. This contest is a draw. So let's hear it for both Ben the Butcher Vickers,
just as we called it, Cowan, it's a draw.
Ahondjo.
38-38. And I think that's a fair result. I think that is a fair result. Ben will be very chuffed with that result. Mark, the War Chief Ahondjo, I'm not too sure he would be happy with that, but it's a good learning fight for him. It's not a loss, it's a draw. So he can still walk out with his head held high, and that's a very good experience for him.
Massive experience for him. I mean, Vickers is going to go home very happy with a draw. War Chief is going to be disappointed, but the amount he learned from that fight will be so much more than his first fight.
Of course. Do you know what's funny? I think the ref kind of gave it away a little bit, you know, because when he held both fighters' hands, it seemed like he had both hands ready to go up already, which indicated that maybe it actually is a draw. But I think that's a fair result. It's a good learning fight for Mark, the War Chief Ahondjo. But Ben Vickers should be very proud of himself. I think that was a very good performance. He came here not to make up the numbers, and it shows in him coming away with a draw.
He'll get a lot of work off the back of that one, because there'll be heavyweights up and down the country who need someone to come and test them, and that's exactly what he's done there.
100%, I agree. But a great learning fight once again. Great learning fight.
Easy matchmaking next year as well, because you can just run that one again.
Do you know what? I think Mark the War Chief would probably be interested in the rematch. You know, he would have taken a lot from that fight. He'll go back, watch it, try to make some adjustments to his game plan. You know, he's still early in this game, and he might want the rematch. You know,
the competitor in him will absolutely want the rematch. It's not a wrong because it's a draw, but he'll want to write that in his own head and walk out a victor.
100%. But also, I think if there was a rematch, Ben Vickers obviously has probably seen enough in those 4 rounds to fancy himself and make some adjustments of his own. So yeah. That was a very good fight, really good fight. The action continues. We've got the next fight coming up. We have another 3-minute round fight between Taylor Grigg, who's a local boy from Derby, and he'll be taking on Sam Kirk, who's boxing out of Doncaster, which is not too far from here, but he's managed by the famous, accomplished professional boxer Jason Cunningham.
Yes, Jason Cunningham, British, Commonwealth, English, Midlands, European champion, world title contender. Very, very good fighter, Jason Cunningham.
Excellent, very good fighter, and you know he's building up quite a good pro stable. in his gym. Got quite a few good fighters, you know. So yeah.
One of boxing's nice guys as well.
Yeah, he is. He is. Really, I've met him a few times. I've been down to his gym to do some sparring with some of his prospects, and yeah, always welcoming. Great family man. And yeah, Jason also reflecting in, you know, his ability as a coach. He seems to be building quite a decent stable. So yeah, interesting to see how this one goes.
It's become a bit of a hotbed of boxing, hasn't it? Doncaster, with Dave Allen, Jason Cunningham stable, Terry Harper, Maxie Hughes used to train there at one point. It's done very, very well in that regard.
Yeah, very well. We've got the Cinderella man, Josh Padley, who trains out of that gym. You know, the guy who did he take a fight on a few days' notice and ended up on a Riyadh season card, so he's done very well for himself.
We'll pass over to Jonathan Miller now to announce the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the action continues here in Derby with our next bout of the evening. 4 rounds of action in the middleweight division. So please welcome first into the arena to the blue corner, Sam, the Road Runner Kirk.
Sam Kirk boxing out of the blue corner tonight from Doncaster.
Yet to pick up a win as a pro, but had 24 contests, and as we mentioned earlier, it's the one before Christmas.
Yeah, he's had some good company. He's been in with some good company. Bobby Dalton, former English welterweight champion.
And now we welcome his opponent into the arena. To the red corner, please welcome Taylor Grigg.
Taylor Grigg has had some notable wins against the 4-0, respectively, Brett Egan and Jagdeep Purwal. He boxed Jack Mantell. Mantell won the first fight. It was a local matchup. They're potentially talking about a rematch in 2026. So Taylor Grigg's done alright. Obviously, he's come up on this unlicensed circuit, and he's trying to make his feet in the pro ranks. A bit more experience now. He's had 7 pro fights. I've seen him box a few times, I've seen him spar. He's got bags of talent. Probably just looking to get a bit more momentum with, you know, the fights and probably push on. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
Yeah, those notable wins that you mentioned, Egan and Purwell, they were in a tournament similar to the one that you won, and he made it to the final against all odds and lost a Kirk Stevens, who then he lost narrowly on points, and Kirk Stevens went on to win the Midlands area title in his very next fight.
Done very well in that prize fighter tournament, which I think there was somewhere in the millions, considering I'm sure he went into it with only a couple of pro fights. So he done well, done very well. He's probably taken some fights that guys with his level of experience wouldn't have taken, but I do respect that, you know, because those fights, if we're in his favour, we could be having a different conversation today. So I do like a boxer who, you know, takes risk and believes in his ability. So,
yeah, his last fight was actually in Atlantic City in August. He took the fight prior to signing with Trilogy Promotions, who he's now signed to, which is Ashton's, and he boxed in Atlantic City, which is a nice bucket list item ticked off.
100%. That'd be an amazing experience, irrespective of maybe not getting the result, but there's a lot you would have learned from that.
Standing across the ring and boxing out of the red corner. Here's the official weight on the stairs today: 11 stone, 1 pound, 8 ounces. Tonight he enters the ring with a professional record of 4 victories, 1 coming within the distance and 3 defeats. Tonight wearing the red, white and blue from Derby, presenting Taylor Grigg.
Obviously, you can tell by the reception in the crowd here today that, you know, Taylor Grigg is the home fighter boxing out of Derby. So of course he would have had a great experience boxing in Atlantic City, but I'm sure he would like to be boxing back home here tonight.
Home is where the heart is, after all.
Of course.
And he's overhauled his team as well, Taylor Grigg. He
Yeah.
was with Sam Goodrum in his early pro fights, but now he's with coach Dan Gray. So that will have we'll see what that's done to his style.
Yeah, of course. There's an old saying that records are for DJs, and you know Taylor Gregg's record might not tell the best story, but he's been in there with good company. He's a very well accomplished boxer, so we should see that here as the first round gets underway.
So when he had his fight with Mantell, that was a very, very difficult fight for both. Like,
Yeah.
no one came out unscathed. It was just a case of, as it went the distance, Mantell just stepped up a gear, and it didn't seem like Grigg had the tank to carry on.
Yeah.
It wasn't for lack of skill in there on the day.
100%. And you know what it is? They say, you know, talent can take you so far, but it needs to be backed up with heart. Heart can take you a lot further. And just sometimes you just got to back down in the gum shield and just grit it through. So he probably would have taken a lot from that, and he would have learned from, you know, the 3 defeats he's had. So that should reflect on how he approaches this fight and fights that are to come in the rest of his career.
Very comfortable switch hitter, though, Grigg. He likes to box out of both stances and keep the distance.
You know, with switch hitting, if you make it work, then great. Well, that was a great body shot from Taylor Grigg there. His opponent definitely felt that. I think Sam Kirk, well, he took it well, he threw back. But yeah, just talking about the switch hitting, I think if you can do it well, great. I think there's a lot of guys who I see who do switch hit, but sometimes it makes them more defensively vulnerable. But yeah, each to their own, you know, if he's comfortable doing it.
Probably seen one of the best switch hitters of all time retire in the last week.
Yeah. Another good body shot from Grigg. He is throwing some good body shots from the lead hand out of the southpaw stance. Oh, Sam Kirk comes back with a straight right to the body of his own.
You are right with the switch hitting, because when I used to do it, it was my defense that just wasn't as strong from the other side.
Yeah. Another good body shot again. Yeah, and that's natural, you know. I'm an orthodox boxer. I can box from the southpaw stance, but you know, whether people won't honestly say this as boxers, but you're not going to be defensively sound in both stances. There's going to be one stance that defensively you feel a lot more vulnerable. So it just depends on what you do when you switch. You know, James DeGale was another prolific switch hitter as well. But yeah, Terence Crawford probably, in my mind, is probably one of the modern greats when it comes to switch hitting. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd say him and Hagler are probably the 2 finest switch hitters of any era.
But it's funny because, you know, Hagler, he'd probably box out of one stance for the whole fight. You wouldn't see him switch that many times within a fight.
Yeah.
But whereas that Terence Crawford can jab you from southpaw and turn around and jab you orthodox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his weak stance is better than his opponent's better stance.
Yeah. That was a good first round for Taylor Grigg. I think that's 1 round to the good for him.
I really liked his body shots. His right hook to the body was finding a home. And if he carries on with that, then that could pay dividends as we get later on in the fight.
I agree.
Some of the other names that Sam Kirk's been in with as well. He's been in with Central Area Champion Dom Hunt, but he's also boxed Dylan Fitzgerald, who's appearing later on in the show. Yeah,
Dylan Fitzgerald is a very good boxer. I was privileged enough to spar some rounds with him recently in lead up to this fight. And yeah, man, very good boxer. Still very young. Got hopefully a long, great career ahead of him.
Round 2.
And we get the second round underway.
I felt Grigg was having more success as a southpaw.
Yeah, especially with the lead right hands to the body. Obviously comes out in the orthodox stance.
That can be one of the downsides of being a good switch hitter, is when one side's working, you tend to just switch out of habit as opposed to just staying to the side that works.
He's gone back to the southpaw stance. I have been quite impressed with Taylor Grigg's punch selection tonight so far in these 2 rounds. Good bit of hand speed as well.
He dropped a lovely straight left to the body there as well, which found a home after he'd switched.
I can imagine, you know, being back in his home city today, he'd be feeling, you know, feeling quite good, quite confident, and it seems like he's enjoying the occasion. You know, they say a happy boxer is a dangerous boxer, so and he certainly looks happy, and he looks dangerous.
And that right hook found a home again.
Straight back hand after the top. Straight back hand after. Down underneath with it.
Good work again from Taylor Grigg.
Could hear his coach is asking for a straight backhand, and he followed it up immediately.
Taylor Grigg is looking impressive tonight, looking very good.
Jab and tap him round, tail to your big man there. Switch back.
You hear the corner shouting, switch back.
Yeah, did you
Which
hear
is
that?
interesting. I'll never forget in my 4th pro fight, I went southpaw in the last round, and you heard my manager, Jimmy Gill, God rest his soul, shout, Derek, switch back. I was like, okay. But Taylor looks very good today, he looks composed, quite impressed with this showing so far. He's working the body very well, very into the head as well. So yeah, looks very balanced.
Switch back, Tay, switch back and then tap him round now.
He's just been asked to switch
Switch
back.
It's quite cool commentating where you can hear the, you know, the instructions clearly from one corner.
There you go. Get a bit closer, Tay. There you go.
Lovely lead right hook there. Came right over the left of Kirk.
I do agree with you. I think he is boxing better out of the southpaw stance. Now, whether that is to do with his ability from the southpaw stance or maybe his opponent, Sam Kirk, maybe not having much experience, you know, boxing someone who's southpaw. But those body shots seem to be working because Sam was clutching the side of his ribs as he walked back to the corner.
Yeah, as they say, you can have the best chin in the world, but when a body shot sinks in, there's nothing you can do about it.
Honestly, you know, I think all boxers have been caught with a body shot once or twice, whether it be in a fight or sparring, and I kid you not, it's probably worse than any headshot that your opponent could land. It just completely tells your oxygen to exit your body immediately.
You can recover from a headshot based on good fitness, can't you? But that
Yeah.
body shot is debilitating.
And sometimes, you know, you might not feel the body shots, but your body will start to feel the effects of them as the fight goes on.
Seconds out. Round 3.
Underway in the 3rd round, Taylor Grigg comes out in the southpaw stance once again, and he's done well with those body shots. I think it shows because Sam Kirk was looking a bit weary walking back to the corner, and you can see he's making sure he's keeping his elbows nice and tight to his side, wary of the body shots coming from Taylor.
Yeah, don't want to be taking too many of those. And you can see Greg knows that they've been working well, so Kirk now is a little bit more cautious because when something's working, you're going to keep doing it.
Of course. I've been quite impressed with, you know, Taylor Grigg. He, from the southpaw starts, throws a lovely lead jab and then goes straight to the body with the lead hand again. He's thrown a few of them today and I don't think he's missed many.
He's using the jab as a great rangefinder to set up his other shots.
Oh, gets in with that right to the body once again. From the side of the ring, from the commentary table, you could hear that very clearly. The Taylors look very balanced today so far. Very good performance.
It's become more difficult now though because in the first 2 rounds Kirk had a little bit more ambition.
Yeah.
But having taken those shots, he seems to have gone into his shell more, which leaves less gaps.
100%. I think, like I said, those body shots, they are starting to pay dividends. And, you know, there's an old saying, you chop the tree down from the base. And I think that's what Taylor's done in the first 3 rounds. And I think Sam Kirk is showing, you know. Taylor could potentially get a stoppage here to the body, because Sam Kirk is not looking, he doesn't seem to be enjoying these body shots, and no one would. He's throwing them very well tonight.
One thing we do know, though, is that if he's linked to Jason Cunningham, he will be fit and that body will be conditioned.
100%.
It's just a case of how long he can take him for.
Taylor's looking very impressive so far. Oh, and he lands that right to the body again. 2 in quick succession, and I don't know how Sam Kirk is feeling right now, but the left side of his ribs visibly looking red.
Yeah, there's some visible reddening there, and that elbow is being held a bit lower to protect it.
And he can't miss with that right hand to the body from the southpaw stance. Probably makes sense for him to just stay in the southpaw stance because he's getting quite a bit of success from it.
And another, and another.
And another. Listen, you can hear those shots from ringside. They are landing flush. He's done very well so far. Very good performance from Taylor Grigg in the first 3 rounds.
If you were going to sum up this contest in a phrase, it would be right hook to the body.
Yeah. I think it's just been a well-balanced performance from Taylor Grigg. You know, he's not rushed his work. He's not overdone it. You know, he could have come out here very excited, being the hometown favourite. But he's been very composed. I've been very impressed with his boxing tonight. You know, he's not just rushed in. He's landed a lot of rights to the body, but he hasn't got overexcited with it. He's worked behind a beautiful jab, and yeah, so far very good, very impressed.
Yeah, he's controlled the distance, he's controlled the pace. He's been in total control throughout the fight. And he's set up everything that he wants to do as well. It hasn't been reckless at any point.
Yeah.
Orders, 10 seconds. Seconds out.
And they touch gloves for the fourth and final round here
Fourth
tonight.
and final round.
How many right hooks to the body are going to land in this round?
Oh. There's the first one. But yeah, Taylor Grigg he's done very well, because I have to commend him for his composure. Because if you notice, as a boxer, you're landing the same shot and you get a lot of success with it. There could be a tendency to, you know, get trigger happy with it and just keep doing it again and again. But he's done it repetitively, but behind a good jab, and varied his work. So yeah.
Yeah, he's kept setting it up. One thing I haven't noticed too much of, normally when someone lands right hands like that to the body, you'd expect Kirk's left to drop and leave a gap to a right hook to the chin, but that hasn't quite happened yet.
No. But then you can also argue that his guard is quite up nice and high and blocking the headshots, but because his guard is high, he's not really reacting to the body shots and not bringing in his elbow tight enough. Hence why Taylor keeps finding a way around his elbow.
Yes, why? And another lands right there, just as you mentioned it.
Another one again, and Taylor Grigg in there just laughing and smiling, you know, almost in disbelief that he's been allowed to land that many right hands to the body in the same spot from the southpaw stance.
I mean, that is going to be sore tomorrow morning.
He lands another one again. And I think, yeah, like I said, defensive. Sam Kirk seemed to be defensively sound to the head, but I think what he's doing here is just keeping what I call a static guard and not moving with the shots. So bringing his elbow down just a little bit.
Good head movement there from Taylor Grigg as well.
Yeah,
standing in range.
Good feet as well.
Although he is getting a telling off from the corner for dropping his right hand.
Yeah. But I would believe that, you know, Sam Kirk is probably struggling to figure out in terms of where to position his guard. Because when he's keeping his hands up nice and high, Taylor's, I beg your pardon, is going to the body. And the moment Taylor goes to the body, goes back to the head, he's mixing up his shots. So it's making it hard for Sam to read where, and, you know, read where the shots are coming from and actually defend them.
Those body shots have definitely had an effect, because Sam Kirk is looking visibly tired without having worked much during the fight.
I agree.
Last turn. Come on, Tate.
That's a very good fight. Comprehensive performance by Taylor Grigg. I think she'd be really impressive with that. I think that's should be your 4-round shutout. Landed some wonderful shots, was composed, didn't rush his work, picked his shots, and yeah, I think his corner will be happy with that performance, and I think Taylor should be happy with that performance as well.
Yeah, great fight to get back in the win column. He's a respectful lad, is Taylor. I've seen him go up and fist bump the referee there, which you don't see too much of.
Yeah, it was a very good performance for him. Really impressed. Really impressed.
Now we'll hand over to MC Jonathan Millard to read out the scorecards.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please show your appreciation for both boxers stood here in the ring. But ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, we go to our referee's scorecard. Referee Peter McCormack scores the contest 40-36 for your winner from Derby, Taylor Grigg.
Yeah, as we assume, Taylor Grigg with the comprehensive shutout win. Really impressed with his performance tonight. Was very balanced, very composed, picked his shots, was having success with the right to the body, but didn't get too greedy with it. Kept it behind a very jab. You know, he switched a lot, but there was, you know, method to what he was doing tonight. So yeah, very big well done to him.
Yeah, it was far more structured than the last time out I seen him when he was against Jack Mantell. He looks like he's learnt a lot from that fight.
Of course.
And, you know, he's realising now the importance of retaining your discipline when you're in the fight.
His corner should be very happy with that.
Next up, we have got Ellis Price against Stefan Vincent in the last contest before we go to the main show. So this one will be over 4 fights. Ellis Price is from Leeds and trained by Dave Coldwell. He is the brother of Hopi.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the action continues here.
So he comes from some very good boxing pedigree.
So first, please welcome into the arena to the blue corner, Stefan the Wasp Vincent.
So like you mentioned, he's trained by David Coldwell. Accomplished fighter. Was accomplished fighter. Former area champion. Becoming an accomplished trainer. Trained the likes of Leron Richards, Tony Bellew. Did some work with, you know, I know he's worked a lot with Callum Simpson a bit as well. So yeah, really good trainer.
Interesting entrance from Stefan Vincent.
Very interesting entrance. I love the Christmas hat.
Very festive. He's got like a little leprechaun or a Grinch with him as well.
Very notable opponents include Archie Sharp and Reece Mode. Reece Mode, who challenged for the British title against Lee Wood. Archie Sharp, who's WBO European champion. He went the distance in both fights, so he's accomplished. Archie Sharp and Reece Mode are accomplished operators.
He's also boxed Joe Howarth, who was on DAZN earlier in the week. When he
cool.
Opponents, please now welcome into the arena
So,
to the red
he's
corner,
experienced and knows his way around the ring,
Wild Child.
he's up against the Wild Child.
Price.
Decorated amateur, 6-time national champ, 2-time European Games medalist. So yeah,
got 2 stoppages in his 3 wins so far as well.
yeah. Can't lie and say I love the entrance music. It's a classic.
Great entrance music. got the Leeds United colours on as well, being a boy from the city.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, how he fares today. Obviously, Hope
Ladies
Price,
and gentlemen, distinguished guests.
very accomplished fighter.
Harry Ashton of Trilogy Promotions.
I wonder if it's always a bit of pressure when you come from a good fighting family.
This bout sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Their supervisor here at ringside, Mr. Tony Hedges. Our timekeeper at the bell for this bout, Mr. Jason Booth. Our referee in charge of the action, third man in the ring, Mr. Reese Carter. So introducing to you first, standing in and boxing out of the blue corner. His official weight on the scales, 10 stone, 7 pounds. He is an experienced international boxer wearing the black and yellow shorts from Dorset, presenting Stefan, the Wasp Vincent.
I love their ring names here. We have the
His
Wasp,
opponent tonight standing across the ring,
Wild
boxing
child.
out of the red corner.
and he
His
fits
official
with
weight
the
on
black and
scales, 9
gold
stone,
yellow
13
gloves.
10 ounces. Tonight, he enters the ring with a perfect professional record. 3 victories, 2 coming within the distance. Tonight, wearing the colours of Leeds, white, blue, and yellow. From Leeds, presenting the Wild Child, Ellis Price.
So curious to
Our
see.
referee, Mr. Reese Carter, to give his final instructions.
Just professionals know the rules, keep it clean, listen to me, and defend yourself at all times. Good luck, lads. Shake hands.
For the first round, round 1.
So we get round 1 underway. We've got Ellis Price boxing out of the red corner in the blue and white shorts with the gold tassels. You saw just before the fight he had the rosary around his neck and made the sign of the cross, so clearly a man of faith. He has the Bible scripture on the back of his shorts, Romans 8:18.
Yeah, so interestingly, I was with Ellis when he was doing his boxing medical, and I was speaking to his father, and he's from travelling Backstock, and as you know, that's a really religious community anyway.
Of course.
He's an orthodox fighter. His brother Hopi is southpaw, and he looks as if he's a lot heavier than Hopi, and he seems to be carrying more power, and it seems to sit down more in his shots, whereas Hopi seems to be more of an elusive boxer when you watch him.
It'll be good to see how he shapes up. For anyone at home watching this live stream wondering what the verse means on the back of Ellis's shorts. So Romans 8:18 actually says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that was revealed in us." So that's a wonderful verse to have on the back of his shorts, and probably tells you a bit about the character or his personality in terms of why he selected that verse. So it'll be interesting to see how he shapes up, but he's got an amazing trainer in his corner and comes from an amazing boxing family, so yeah.
If anyone was going to notice that on the back of his shorts, it would be the punching preacher himself.
No comment, I plead the fifth. But so far impressed with the man in the opposite corner, boxing out the blue corner, Stefan Vincent, who's boxing out of Dorset, known as the Wasp, matched with the black shorts and gold trim with the yellow gloves, and he is circling around the ring like a wasp would, so the nickname suits.
Let's see if he's got a bit of sting to back that up.
Agreed. Price is looking, whoa, some hellacious body shots right now. Landed one left to the body, one right to the body.
Highly decorated amateur Price, 6 times national champion, 2 times European Games medalist at youth level, and he's turned over pro at a young age because he's 22 at the minute, so that would give him an ample time as a pro, but again, as you say, mileage on the clock, that's what it's all about.
100%. There's some guys that turn over from a young age amateur, but they've had long, illustrious amateur careers, hundreds of amateur fights, and you don't know what their mileage is like. They might be high mileage if they've been in a lot of wars. So look at Sam Eggington. Sam Eggington is probably one of the youngest fighters who's had a lot of mileage quite early on. So I think mileage is very important, and some of the older fighters like your Terence Crawford, your Usyks are proven that mileage is important. So yeah, good first round.
Both fighters look very comfortable in the corner. Vincent opting to stand with his coach in the corner, whereas Ellis has sat down and he's just awaiting instructions from Dave Caldwell.
Yeah, Dave Caldwell is a very methodical trainer. I've been in his gym sparring the likes of LeBron Richards, and you know, he's very, very specific about what he wants his boxers to go out and do. He's very specific with his instructions. Can be very animated and emotional at times, which is quite good, because a lot of the people who train under him will say that he's more than just a trainer. He's like, you know, a family member in the corner. So yeah, so I'd imagine that he's keeping him composed and giving him the right instructions.
He's done nearly every role in boxing as well, and he boxed pro himself. He's been a trainer, he's been a manager, he's been a promoter.
Yep. He actually, I remember my first memories of Dave Caldwell was watching one of my favourite boxers, David Hay, and seeing Caldwell was in the Hay camp as well. So yeah, very accomplished.
I love the Haymaker.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Haymaker as well.
He had some next level power.
You know what, I love his power, but I think he had phenomenal speed and boxing ability. For someone who boxed with his hands low for the majority of his career, profound confidence in his defence. So yeah. Ellis is just back on working behind the jab. Looks very composed. Putting together some very good combinations. But as you can see, Stefan is very experienced. He's knowing how to spoil, when to hold, when to throw, when to move.
Using a high guard as well, Vincent. He doesn't want to get caught with anything.
Of course, and I'd imagine him going the distance with accomplished fighters like Archie Sharp and Reese Mode. He would clearly know his way around the ring, but just know how to slow down a contest, and as I say that, Ellis Price lands a beautiful uppercut.
Timed that brilliantly. I'd imagine being in Ellis Price's camp this week leading up to this fight, one of the things that you'd be looking to, you want to make a statement win against this guy, and what other way would that be than to stop him when others haven't?
Of course. Well, not just others haven't stopped him, others who are in some very good company. Guys like Archie Sharp and Reese Mode. But what I do like from Ellis here today, he looks very composed, even though that Stefan is obviously, with his experience as he would do, starting to hold and spoil and, you know, throw Ellis off his rhythm. He still looks fairly composed and he's still working behind his jab.
Thing with Ellis Price as well, you can see the experience from the amateur days. The minute that Vincent is tying him up, he's working on the inside, which is you don't often see with fighters this early into their pro career.
100%. And I think, you know what, amateur experience, if there's anything we've learned, is that amateur experience is great if you can convert it into the pro game properly. And I think having the right pro trainer, so someone like Dave Caldwell, I'm sure, would be drilling things in the gym in making sure that he does convert that experience, amateur experience, to translate well into the pro game, because there are a lot of amateurs, decorated amateurs, whose experience didn't translate well into the pro game, you know.
Yeah, and we can name many of them, but
many,
those at home will know who we're on about. But sometimes people stay in the amateurs too long.
Too long, yeah. And to be fair, let's be honest, you know, I liken an amateur fight like a, you know, 400-meter sprint. You know, it's a different discipline when you get to the pros. I think the pros are like more like a 1500 race. Two different types of race that require two different set of skills. So
you get punched hard in the amateurs and you're getting a standing 8 count.
yeah.
It's a very different sort of punch that you're getting hit with in the pros.
You don't even have to get punched hard. You just have to make it. The shot has to look good enough that your head is knocked back, and that's a count already.
Yeah.
But impressive Ellis tonight. I think he's boxed well in the first 2 rounds. I think Stefan was making it a bit more difficult for Ellis in that second round. Holding, trying to stop Ellis from working. But Ellis seemed to, so far, be coming through the test that, you know, Stefan is presenting.
It is difficult because he's come up against a guy who wants to smother him. And it's hard to look good against those guys, but Ellis is still looking quite polished.
I agree.
Round 3.
Very hard to look good against someone who's obviously coming to spoil, and especially with some of these journeymen, with all greatest respect to them, you know, they are probably have 3, 4, 5 fights lined up in a row. They don't want us, they need to see the last bell, so they don't get an automatic suspension from the board, which will stop them from earning money. So I understand why.
Yeah, it's a job to them.
100%. And you know, to the untrained eye who doesn't quite understand boxing, how it works, you know, you look at some journeyman, like, you know, if you're one of the best journeymen like Jordan Granham, who was an amateur champion, has uncountable losses, but has only been stopped like 3 times. And I think explaining to someone the level of defensive skill and ability that you need to be able to do that.
Jordan Granham was on a YouTube video that went viral in the week.
Yeah.
Talking about that. And like, it's mad to think that an ABA champion has gone in the away corner, and most people will look at his record and not realise that as an amateur he was one of the best in the country.
Yeah, I think it was 28 fights unbeaten. I think he only lost 2 or 3 amateur fights. But it just tells you the state of professional boxing. It's a business, unfortunately, and you can have all the ability in the ring, but when it comes to, you know, fighting in the home corner, you're going to have to be able to sell tickets and all that stuff. So, but Jordan Granham, if you look at his record, he has taken quite a few old records. You know, he's got the win quite a few times, and with a journeyman there's an art to it. You can't be too good because the phone won't ring, but you can't not be that good because then you won't make the opponent look good. You've got to have to be a bit balanced. So yeah, and I think he's very experienced and probably one of the best ones out there.
But that just highlights the importance of ticket sales in boxing. Like Jordan Granham couldn't sell tickets to more than 3 people, he mentioned. So in turn he's gone on in the away corner. So if you've got fighters asking you whether you can go and support them, buy tickets because it's integral to their career.
100%. If there's anything to go by, last night or the early hours of the morning we had Jake Paul, who's a famous YouTuber, stand in the ring with Anthony Joshua, a 2-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist. And how does Jake find himself in these positions? Because he has a following from his YouTube days. So it just tells you, you know, the current state of not just boxing but sport in general. It's all about attracting a level of viewership to any sporting event. So if that's anything to go by, support your local fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to highlight, like Jake Paul has been, he's no mug. He's been training in boxing for 4 or 5 years with no other distractions. But
Yeah,
I would imagine 2 heavyweights on the show earlier on would have given Jake Paul a competitive fight.
Yeah, I agree. To be fair, I give him all the props in the world. I give props to anyone who steps in the ring. I think for the fact of, I didn't watch the whole fight because I fell asleep, but for the fact that he got in there in the first place, and the times he was knocked down, which I saw from the highlights, he got up. Kudos to anyone who gets in the ring, you know. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need the money.
Yeah.
Well, we all need money. I'm sure he'd love to make a bit more, but he's comfortable. So I appreciate the fact that he's really taken to the sport and dedicated himself to it. And yeah, well done. That should be highlighted, and he should be praised for that, regardless of the result.
One thing I will say with that is, lots of people will say, "Oh yeah, I'll get in the ring for 50 million." You know, give me 50 million, get in the ring. Let me ask you that question 10 minutes before you go out in the changing room, whether you'd still do it against a heavyweight like Anthony Joshua.
Listen, 50 million is life-changing money. I'd definitely take it.
We would, because we've been in there.
Yeah.
Your average armchair fan might not feel the same when they've got someone ready to concuss you.
I'm not sure who's listening. Could be an MVP Promotions representative, but I'd do it for less. I won't say a lot less. Don't want to sell myself short, but listen, at the end of the day, you know, as boxers, we step into the gym every day. We don't know. It could be our last session. It could be our last fight. It could be our last round. So we're prize fighters at the end of the day. So I fully understand boxers taking fights if it means, you know, securing their futures or having something to show for it in terms of monetary gain. I would never look down on that, and I understand why.
I think that we're going to see Price now go for the stoppage.
Yeah. Price has looked really well today. Looked really good this evening. Boxing now in the 4th round, and I think so far he's banked every round.
against a difficult operator in Vincent as well, who
Yeah.
is tying him up quite a lot.
Yeah, he is. But I think just how Stefan has been tying him up and trying to spoil his work and distract his rhythm, I think is testament to Ellis's ability. And I think Stefan, who's very experienced, his facial expressions have shown today that, okay, this is going to be a more tough night at the office.
Yeah, he's come in and he's early on respected Ellis Price's skill. I'm really impressed by Price's stance and balance. His footwork is really, really good.
I agree. Boxed really well today. Stefan's doing very well. To see the final bell.
Yeah, I think if this was a 6-rounder,
Yeah.
it may be a lot more of a task for him to get there.
Yeah. He is a tricky operator. Like I said, with these journeymen, sometimes I feel in the sport of boxing, they don't get enough respect for how good you have to be defensively, how witty you have to be in the ring to be able to take all these fights and fight week in, week out, and see the final bell on so many of those occasions.
It's a skill. Is it Peter Buckley, who had 350 odd fights and he's barely got a mark on him?
Yep. Chris Late was another great journeyman as well.
Yes, Chris Late.
Darryl Price, still want to see another good journeyman. These guys, if given a proper run, probably could have been really good pros. Maybe if they could sell tickets or they had a big promoter behind them.
Absolutely. And then we'll just come to the The MC has just informed me that this is a 6-rounder, but the documentation in front of us says it's a 4-rounder, so apologies to those at home that we told you that's the last round.
So we actually are going into round 5 of what is a 6-round contest.
Orders, 10 seconds. Seconds out.
So Vincent does have another 2 rounds he needs to survive.
Yeah, he does. We're underway now in the 5th round of a 6-round contest, not a 4-round contest.
Price constantly working that jab, always giving Vincent something to think about.
I agree. I wonder if Stefan Vincent though was a 6-round fight, because in the last round he seemed like he was, looking like he was coming down the home stretch. Because now he's come out a bit different. So yeah,
That's not the surprise you would have wanted, is it?
probably not. When he went back to the corner and his corner have told him that, no, it's a 6-rounder. It's funny, I actually boxed a 6-rounder in my 10th pro fight, and it went on my record as a 4-rounder. And still to this day, the board never corrected it. So if there's anyone from the board listening now, please change my 10th fight to a 6-rounder. I stopped him in the 2nd round, but it was a 6-rounder.
It matters, because once you've had a 6-rounder, you can contest the title.
Exactly. But yeah, Ellis is still looking good through this 5th round.
He landed a neat little left hook to the body there, just under the elbow of Vincent as he was crouching down. But just for those that don't understand how boxing works, you do your 4-rounders, but then to fight for a Midlands area title or a 10-round title fight, the board normally likes you to have done 6 rounds. Hence why it's important to have a recorded one on your record. Even if it doesn't go 6 rounds,
Yep.
it must have been scheduled for 6 rounds, so they know that you've trained for that distance. in extreme circumstances, if you're an elite amateur or if there's not many other people at your weight in that region, they may make exceptions, but that tends to be the rule of thumb.
And most likely the board will like you coming off a win as well to contest the title. So if you had a 6-round fight and you're coming off a loss, they would like you to go and get a win before contesting the title. But yeah, Ellis Price has looked good tonight. Stefan is really playing his part.
Vincent's using all of that experience that he's had in his 44 fights to go the distance here, clinging and clinching and moving.
Yep.
Every little trick he has. The thing not many people realise with journeymen, whilst they love to get paid, a lot of them have little goals that they have as well, like winning so many fights. So
Yeah.
a lot of them aim for that 100. That round from Price was a really good round where he got a pat of acknowledgement from Vincent as he went back to the corner. Almost in frustration that Price had such a good round.
Yeah. I think so far it'll be safe to say that I think Price is probably 5 rounds to the good going into the final 6th and final round in this contest. But I think it's presenting a good learning experience for Ellis, you know, because Stefan is experienced and look at him standing there, not even needed a remainder of the 1 minute rest. He's ready to go. And he's done well to hold, to spoil, to disrupt Ellis's rhythm as much as he can.
Seconds out. For the 6th and final
Stefan
round.
was ready to go there with 30 seconds to spare. And you see Stefan smiling as he touches gloves for the 6th round. Almost in a level of respect, as you know, he's been in there with some good operators, so he would be in the best position to know a good operator when he sees one. And he's clearly seeing one in, you know, Price.
Almost playful in terms of how he's offering respect, but Price, as you'd expect with someone with his pedigree in the amateurs, strictly business at this stage, and he'll keep the pleasantries till after the last bell.
Of course, and so we should. I think back to a famous fight I was watching the other day, Floyd Mayweather and Victor Ortiz.
Oh, the headbutt.
After the infamous headbutt, and you know, the referee says, you know, away you go. Ortiz tries to almost apologetically say sorry and put his hand out, and Mayweather just continues boxing, and it's legal, so got to be careful. I remember when I started boxing, coach always said, yeah, touch gloves, but protect yourself at all times, that the ref does say. So yeah.
You remember the old amateur point scoring days?
Yeah.
There was someone in a gym in Wales with me that used to score a point in the 3rd round by going to touch gloves and then throwing a left hook.
Oh, is it straight away?
Every fight he did it.
My first ever spar, I went to touch gloves and I was literally met with a massive left hook, and I learned from that day what protect yourself at all times really means. So yeah, if there's any young boxers watching this, yeah, we encourage sportsmanship, but also protect yourself at all times, like you said.
Yeah, you never know what's coming.
So we're halfway through the last round, just over halfway through. Ellis has looked very impressive today.
Minutes left of the last round of a 6-round contest now. I think Price would like to pin Vincent down more than he has.
Yeah.
But Vincent's proving elusive.
Very, very elusive. Elusive in, you know, in a different type of elusiveness. Because he's not, let's say, the Usyk Lomachenko style of elusiveness with sort of kind of defensive head movement from the top half of his body, but he's doing enough. He moves at the right time. He knows when to hold. He knows when to lean forward, when to lean back. He knows when to pop a jab out like he did just there. So very experienced.
Yeah, I'd call it like a non-threatening elusive.
Yeah,
elusive to keep himself safe, but without actually putting the opponent in danger.
I agree. It seems like he embodies a lot of different styles in one fight. You know, we had a bit of Hopkins there when he lunged forward with a jab and just held on straight away.
He did just throw a Hail Mary hoping for a last round knockout there. That's a victory for Vincent to going the distance.
Great contest. That was a great fight. I think Ellis will be happy with that. Stefan will be happy with that as well.
Yeah.
Getting through that.
6 rounds under his belt at the age of 22 for Ellis Price as well.
Of course.
It's, you know, from your perspective, Derek, that is invaluable experience at
100%.
this stage.
100%. I think that was great experience for him. You know, in this early stage of your career, it's about, number one, staying active, getting the right fights as well, and learning along the way. You know, you look at some pros you maybe didn't have. It's not about just getting in there and looking good all the time and knocking guys out. You know, sometimes it doesn't build the solid foundation you need when you want to push on. So fights like this will help him because it will give him that experience and be able to deal with different styles, not having it all your own way all the time. So yeah, really good.
And Vincent now has got his Christmas hat back on, ready for the decision from MC Jonathan Millard.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please show your appreciation for both boxers stood in the ring. But ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to our referee scorecard. Our referee rescored scores the contest 60-54 for your winner. From Leeds, the wild child, Ellis Price.
Just as we expected, shutout performance there from Ellis Price. That was a good performance for him. I'm sure Dave Caldwell will be happy with that. But Dave Caldwell does come across as the man is quite hard to please, so he would have high hopes and high standards for Ellis. So that would just be another day at the office.
Yeah, he doesn't attach his name to people who aren't going places, Dave.
Of course.
And that comes from high expectations. You know, Tony Bellew, the McDonald brothers, are just a few that have been in the gym with him, and we know where they got to.
But yeah, you'd be happy with that performance. Getting in a fight a few days before Christmas. He can now go and enjoy his Christmas break.
Tell me if you hear this.
So the night of boxing continues. And I believe for the next fight we are back to the heavyweight.